Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting through the complexity of, well, one of the most critical technologies for any business using AI. We're talking about how to get large language models to speak intelligently about your private proprietary data.
Right. Every company has it. I mean, all those internal documents, your contracts, your SOPs, that huge pile of support tickets.
And by default, LLMs know absolutely none of that. For the past couple of years, the answer has been Retrieval-Augmented Generation, RA.
RAG is really the only bridge. The idea sounds simple, right? You just look up the relevant documents, feed them to the LLM, and get a grounded answer. But actually building that bridge yourself,
Yeah.
it's been a massive drag on getting anything deployed.
And if you get it even slightly wrong, the model just starts making things up. You get these ungrounded, fabricated responses, and you completely lose trust.
Which kills any chance of using AI for real business-critical decisions.
So the mission for this deep dive is to look at source material detailing how Google's new Gemini file search API is, well, it's disrupting this entire model.
It promises to collapse what used to be a multi-week RAG pipeline into a single managed service.
And that fundamentally changes where developers are spending their time and, frankly, their energy.
Exactly. It's a shift from building infrastructure to just deploying solutions. But to really get why that's so huge, you have to understand the hidden tax that traditional RAG puts on engineering teams.
Okay, let's unpack that. A hidden tax. The sources frame this as an engineering maze that takes weeks, sometimes months, to navigate. What are the specific hurdles here?
Well, if you're building this from scratch, you hit 4 big, unavoidable walls. First up is your document chunking strategy.
So how you actually split up the document.
Right, and you have to decide manually how to break apart every single document into these little searchable snippets.
Yeah.
And if you make the snippet too long, you pull in a lot of noise and lose precision.
Okay.
But if it's too short, you lose the semantic context. The model can't connect, say, the beginning of a policy with the end of it.
So you're stuck doing endless testing just to find that sweet spot for every single document type you have.
Exactly. And that's just step one. Once you have your chunks, then comes embedding generation.
This is where you turn the text into vectors, right? The numbers the models understand.
Yep. So now you have to pick the right embedding model, manage thousands of API calls, and you have to worry about rate limits so you don't crash the whole service.
And then store all of that data somewhere.
And that's step 3, the vector database setup. This is heavy, specialized infrastructure you have to stand up and optimize.
We're talking things like Pinecone, Weaviate.
Exactly. And whether it's self-managed or a hosted service, you need teams, configuring indexes, monitoring performance 24/7. It's a full-time job just managing the pointers to your data.
And we still haven't even gotten to the user's actual question.
That's the 4th and final pitfall, the retrieval and ranking logic. You have to write all the custom code to query that database, rank the results, and then format it all perfectly for the LLM.
And you have to maintain all of that forever.
Constantly. A new embedding model comes out, your document formats change.
Yeah.
You're always updating it. The maintenance overhead is just huge.
And the core conclusion from our sources here is fascinating. It's that for most companies, the competitive edge isn't in solving those 4 steps anymore. That game is over.
It's essentially been outsourced.
Yeah.
The sources are calling it a complexity collapse, and it's happening through products like this Gemini file search API.
So it's a fully managed RE service, one API call, and it just gets rid of that entire custom pipeline.
It eliminates the custom chunking, the embedding pipelines, the vector database management, all of it.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics. I'm an engineer. I upload my 500-page operations manual. What's happening under the hood that I don't have to worry about anymore?
It works in 2 really elegant phases. The first is offline indexing. You just upload your files, PDFs, DOCX, JSON, code, whatever.
Standard formats.
Standard formats. And the service just takes over. It does intelligent semantic chunking based on the document's actual structure. It generates the embeddings using the Gemini models, and it builds the vector index.
With 0 configuration for me.
0. You just hand over the documents.
So it knows how to read a PDF table differently than a code snippet.
Precisely. And then when the user asks a question, that's phase 2, real-time query. First, the model intelligently decides if the question even needs to access those files. If it does, it generates multiple optimized search queries, not just one.
Multiple queries.
Multiple. It runs them in parallel across all your documents at the same time, retrieves the best results, and then synthesizes an answer using Gemini 1.5 Pro.
And the performance metrics from the early partners are, they're pretty wild. Sub-2-second response times consistently.
Even when they're searching across thousands of files. And that includes retrieval, synthesis, and the generation of citations.
Which is so critical for trust.
It's essential. The sources are clear on this. Every answer comes back with built-in citations pointing to the exact passage in the source document. For compliance or support, that's not a nice to have. It's the entire reason you can adopt the technology.
This completely changes the conversation for engineering teams. The time, the budget.
Yeah.
We're talking about a 10x reduction in build time.
Oh, easily. What took a specialized team weeks, a single engineer can now ship in a few hours.
But I have to ask, what's the trade-off here? By collapsing all this complexity, am I giving up control? Am I creating some kind of massive vendor lock-in?
That is the right question. And yes, there's a trade-off. You're moving from total granular control where you tune every little detail to managed simplicity. But for, I'd say 99% of enterprise use cases, the tiny bit of tuning control you lose is just massively outweighed by the speed and the cost savings.
Okay, let's talk about the cost. Give us the breakdown from the source material.
All right, so let's take a common scenario, say 10,000 queries a month across a knowledge base of about 1,000 documents. With a traditional RAGZEX setup, you're paying for the vector database licenses, cloud storage, all those embedding API calls.
Yeah.
The sources estimate that at around $1,100 a month.
$1,100 a month just to keep the lights on.
Just to keep it running.
Yeah.
Now, with the file search API, the cost for that exact same scenario drops by about 90%.
90%.
Down to about $115 a month.
Wow. How is that even possible?
It's the pricing structure. Data storage and the embeddings you generate at query time are basically free. The main cost is a one-time indexing fee. And it's tiny. It's 15 cents per million tokens.
One time. So give me a concrete example of that.
Let's stick with the 1,000 documents. Let's say that's about 3 million tokens total. The entire one-time fee to index that whole library is 45 cents.
45 cents.
Yep. You index it once and it's done. The monthly cost is then just the standard generation tokens for Gemini 1.5 Pro, making the RAG part of the pipeline itself practically free.
And the technical side reflects that simplicity? The whole stack, all 4 of those engineering nightmares we talked about, it gets replaced by just 3 API calls.
It's incredibly clean. Call 1, create the file store, that's your knowledge base. Call 2, upload your files and trigger the indexing.
Which is all automatic.
All automatic. And call 3, query it with natural language, just pointing your request to that file store ID. No DevOps, no infrastructure to manage.
So that speed lets teams jump straight from how do we build this to what business problem do we solve first. Let's talk about those immediate high ROI use cases. What could you, the listener, realistically ship this week?
The focus completely shifts. You stop thinking about architecture and start asking, where's our biggest document bottleneck?
Yeah.
And we've got 3 high-value applications right off the bat. First, the internal support assistant.
This solves that classic problem, right? Support teams wasting hours just digging through siloed documentation to find the official policy on something.
Exactly. You build an assistant that answers directly from the complete, up-to-date library with citations. Response times can drop by 60%.
And the citations give everyone the confidence that it's the official answer.
It removes all the ambiguity.
Okay, what about a sales team? They live and die on speed and accuracy.
That's use case number 2, a sales intelligence layer. Reps are always digging through old proposals and contracts, trying to find the right terms or competitive data.
Total time sink.
A huge one. Now they can just ask, what were the enterprise terms we offered in Q4 last year? And the system pulls the exact language from all past proposals. They walk into calls more prepared, they close deals faster.
And the third one is operations, which can be just paralyzed by static, hard-to-find documents.
Right, the operations knowledge base. This turns all those long static SOPs into an interactive Q&A. A new hire can ask, what's the 3-step process for onboarding a new vendor?
And they get the exact procedure with citations to the official guide.
Instantly. The sources cite a 40% drop in onboarding time for new hires. And process compliance goes way up because the right answer is just so easy to find.
This all points to a really profound strategic shift. If the infrastructure is now a solved problem, a standardized service, where is the competitive advantage now?
It moves entirely to deployment speed and business insight. The old advantage was in building your infrastructure faster or tuning it better.
The new advantage is just understanding your own business's bottlenecks and being the first to deploy a solution that actually works.
Its speed beats sophistication. The value is no longer in the plumbing. It's in where you point the fire hose.
So for you, the listener, listening to this right now, how do you apply this? We've got a 4-step action plan here.
Right, and it's all about starting small and moving fast. Step 1, pick one team, just one. Support, sales, operations, whoever has the most obvious pain point with documents.
Step 2, pick one document set. Don't try to boil the ocean and index the entire company.
No, start focused. 50 to 200 high-value documents, your help center articles, your current SOPs.
And step 3 is the big one that leverages this new speed. Ship a prototype in a day.
Get it into their hands, create the file store, upload the docs, and get immediate feedback from the team that's actually going to use it.
And finally, step 4, measure and expand.
Track the key metrics. Time saved, tickets resolved, deals closed. Use those hard numbers to justify expanding. Don't waste months in architectural debates.
So what we've really analyzed today is how that complexity wall, the one that blocked AI from understanding private data, has effectively just crumbled.
You don't need a dedicated RJAG infrastructure team anymore. You win by integrating faster and moving the needle on your key business metrics.
The source material is pretty emphatic on this. The RJ infrastructure game is over. Managed services won.
The advantage now is purely about identifying that critical business problem and deploying a solution that shows results this week, not next quarter.
So the question is no longer how you build that bridge to your documents. It's where you point that intelligence first. Something to think about as you look at your team's friction points.
Until next time.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.